Alrighty gamers, welcome in to No Such Time to Main, and I am No Such Time, and in this video today, I wanted to talk about my first thoughts on the Xenoblade Chronicles Future Redeemed. Um, I just started playing it the other day. I put a couple hours into it, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and what I basically learned from it and what I think of it so far. And so let's just get into it. Alrighty, so we're at the opening screen of the game itself. Now, I am enjoying this. Actually am really enjoying this. I played it for like when I played it on the first day. I put a couple hours into it, and I'm just like, wow, where did time go? But I'm really enjoying it. It still has a lot of mechanics to it, which you know, it's not hard to pick up on if you know what you're doing. There's still some things I'm grasping, of course, as I play. I'm not sure. I think I might be like 10 hours in right now, if not a little bit more. But everything's just everything's as I imagined it when playing it. It does tell a different story of a different group of people. There are people that end up showing up into it and actually seeing them different compared to what I remember them being is pretty awesome. It intertwines certain storylines together, so we see that as well. You'll recognize a lot of the faces if you played all three of the games, and then you'll see them in here. But it's really awesome what they're doing with this game. Now, as for story wise, very confusing at times. So there's still a lot I'm trying to let sink in and learn about it, but at the same time, it's Xenoblade Chronicles, so there's always going to be some weird twist and turn that's just going to throw you off. You're going to be like, well, what's this? What's going on here? What's this? What's that? And it just leaves you questioning all around what the bigger purpose is of everything. Now, um, the main characters are a bit different. Of course, we have a different set of characters in every single game. This one I have seen like very limited connection to the third game, but it still blends in with the rest of the Xenoblade Chronicle universe. Which, if you've seen the advertisements, you've seen Shulk and you've seen Rex show up in the game. There's a few others in the game that I'm not gonna really talk too much about, but all in all, it's a great game. Mechanics are a bit tad complex, but if you really pay attention, you can learn a lot. It's basic standard RPG where they give you a lot to learn, but the game and the story is there and it progresses very well. Man, getting a chain attack is a bit difficult so far for me. I don't know if it's because of the way. I don't know if it has something to do with their levels or just being too powerful or what I'm doing so far. Um, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The first boss battle was a bit difficult at first because it was like you were playing it, and I played it for a good like 20 to 15 minutes straight, and I'm like, when is this boss gonna die? And then it got to a point where you got to like the center of the bar, and then you started like really kicking his butt. So that's in there. A lot of the story is connected to the what's going on in three. The one thing that really throws me off is this takes place later on in the future. That's something to learn as you play the game. You'll see it that it takes place after the events of 3 and the ending of 3. And what's really throwing me off about it is some of those characters that existed in 3, they for some reason still exist here. So I think that has something to do with the timeline of everything. And really, Xenoblade Chronicles is always about timelines and intertwining them and just characters meeting characters from different time periods and all that. So, basic, normal, standard Xenoblade Chronicles stuff. Now, um, I said the mechanics are very complex. They it really is the same mechanics. There's not much of a difference in it, in my opinion, from what I've noticed so far. So I'm waiting later on I'm gonna make a full video about how I feel about this whole DLC and this whole game. But really, it's worth playing if you haven't played this yet and you've played all the games and you played the DLC for 2. I highly suggest playing this because it's gonna set the ending for the whole entire game itself and stories. From what I'm learning, it's actually doing it justice so far, and it has its moments where it does tear jerk you, so be prepared for that. But everything else, you got a few memorable characters in it. Music wise, Xenoblade Chronicles style music. They take songs from like some of the past games, put them in here, and then it still has its own soundtrack, which is really really awesome. And you're kind of in the same you're kind of in the same area as, I want to say, like you're in the same time timeline as the Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's why it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to Future Redeemed. So that explains a lot there. But so far, I've seen, a lot of familiar faces. I've seen, comparable characters. So you're gonna see a lot of that in this game too. And the blades are still around, but the blades are different. They're actual weapons this time. You don't see. I have yet to see Pyra or Mithras show up. I have yet to see Fiora show up. Fiora wasn't a blade. I have yet to see, you know, Nia show back up, or even Melia yet. I have yet to see them show up, and I'm curious if they will. We'll also, I'm also curious to see what the rest of the game holds, because there's still a lot there for that I'm excited to see and just prepared to see. So with that said, I think that concludes everything how I feel about this so far. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about the graphics. Graphics are amazing. They still look like Xenoblade Chronicles. There's a scene where they go into a past game and it's the same graphics as the past game. So I laughed at that because that was kind of funny and kind of cool at the same time. When they went back in history, they used the graphics system from the old game, which was really, really cool, actually. So, yeah, that does it. Let's get back to the big screen now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so there you go. There you have it. There's my first, first thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. Very, very fun game so far. Very, very well put together and very story driven like the rest of them. And there's a lot for me to explore in this game, which I'm gonna be doing. So far I want to say I put 10 hours into it, if not a little bit more, and I'm really, really just enjoying it. So I'm gonna keep playing it, finish it out, and then I'm gonna do my full review of it here on the channel. So I'm not gonna give you a number yet, but the number seems like it's gonna be pretty high. It's gonna be up there with Tears of the Kingdom for me. So, with that said, that's it. If you like what you saw here, hit that like button. If you also like what you saw here, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to get more from me in the future for video games. And, yep, that's it. Take it easy and have a wonderful evening and keep gaming, gamers.